So, how about this? I'm doing the voiceover during pouring rain, and I hope you still can hear me, and maybe it will slow down while I talk, but we will see. Today I have a question to ask everyone. Are we done yet? It's a question that's probably known to many. When to know when you are done with your painting, and it's one that I get asked during tutorials too. At about the stage the painting you will see today is in right now. In the beginning it's difficult to know when your painting is done, complete, finished. We get warned about overworking our paintings, that we get anxious and try not to go too far, not to overwork it. Everyone heard the advice probably. Don't overwork your piece. Or even better as a comment, that it looks overworked. So next time we go and stop somewhere before it becomes overworked again. And sometimes it's at a point when it's not even done yet. I try to paint realistically most of the time. So for me, the painting as you see now is not done. It's far from it. It's merely a first layer, a first step. The underwash to build on, which I will do in this video until this little piece is complete. And I will use it to talk to you what done actually means for us. First, I need to tell you that finished or done is very subjective to the artist. Painting loosely often requires less layers and details and is done much quicker than other styles. And every artist needs to figure out for themselves when their work is finished, when it is finished to them. But to actually learn when the step is reached needs some time and experience. I often see people post their first painting and ask, why does it look unfinished? Or how can they go on to not overwork it? And oftentimes it's just the first wash that is on paper. Can you hear the thunder? Oh wow. That is so moody today. But of course I can see it as a slightly more experienced painter. Others can too. It's not something unique to myself. In this situation it's so difficult to evaluate when your piece is actually done. We see a lot of different styles being posted on the internet and all are appealing, yet all use different techniques and the results artists long for differ. Loose paintings often do without many details and layers, while more realistic work might require more work on detail. So while I work on the details for this tiny painting, I felt it was just the right thing to talk about these last steps of the painting process. Overworked is a term used for many things during the painting process which show in the finished piece. It can be a lack of values when the artist tries to get detail in by enhancing the middle tones, so the piece looks busy in the end but without a clear focal point. It shows lots of effort, and it was during the painting process, no questions asked, but the lack of planning ahead might have led to too many layers without accomplishing the goal of actually enhancing what the artist wanted to show. You all know these pieces, maybe painted them. I did. Still do occasionally, but luckily know how to fix it by now. When a piece looks just a little bit too busy and doesn't transfer the idea or feeling you intended for it. And by trying to fix it without a plan, it might look just not better, not even worse, just not better while becoming busier and busier. It's when it's noticeable that the piece becomes overworked. It also can mean that it's too visible in the finished piece, that the materials can't handle the way they've been used. It can mean that lower layers get moved a lot while glazing and become streaky and uneven. It's something that is very difficult to fix too once it happens, or when paper starts pilling, so you can even use the techniques you want to use or layer as much as you need to achieve your desired result. And there's no fault in the artist, it's just the material is not working for you. That is something very frustrating. And with enough experience, you can paint with lower quality supplies and create desired results, but needs a lot of adjustment to the materials and a lot of workarounds. I actually enjoy that sometimes, as it forces me to rethink my ways and try different approaches to the materials. But not everyone wants and can do that and finds joy in this. It's very understandable. Sorry for the busy rain background today. We all can enjoy some rainy weather during this hot summer days, right? So I actually enjoy that sometimes, because it forces me to rethink my ways. But not everyone wants and can do that and finds joy in this. It's very understandable. And it's really not bad of you if you don't like that. Like, I might be weird. And sometimes it's just so bad that even I get frustrated and would rather give up than finish a piece. The paper I paint this on is a new one to me, by the way. It has no sizing, but is cotton. So it forces me to work differently from my usual paper. It's not bad, per se, it's just different. And I enjoyed the process of this piece. This is not always the case. Though with the years painting, the cases where I indeed get frustrated are rare now. It's a situation I know well. Oh, so well. So the solutions are, of course, to use decent supplies, or the best you can afford, because the supplies can be pricey. We all know that. If you can go for cotton paper and give yourself time when glazing to let the layers underneath dry properly, it will take away some of the frustration and one reason to let the painting look overworked. So you can avoid that by using slightly better supplies, maybe, especially paper. Now that we looked into why paintings look overworked but not finished, we can look into another question. What is missing in my art? It's a feeling we have about our paintings sometimes, and again, with practice and experience, it's definitely happening less often. In my experience, the case is often that the painting is either unfinished, like really needs layers, or misses a focal point, of which the second is more difficult to fix once you've put paint down, because it affects the composition of the painting. Basically, it's that the eye has nothing to rest on the piece. It happens often with landscapes, which are very plain, so it kind of flows and is nice, but there's nothing really to see there. Nothing that catches our attention, even for a second. And this can be achieved through a series of things like focus, values, objects placed strategically, or just the usage of colors. It can be good to scrap the piece, learn from it, and paint a new one. It's always a valuable decision and works as a solution for overworked paintings too. There is no shame in painting something twice or 3 times to get it just right, and it's honestly a better feeling too when you can finish a piece that you yourselves are happy with. The other case when you feel like something is missing is often because the piece is indeed just unfinished. Just like mine was in the beginning of the video. It misses the focal point, that broken tree in the middle. It missed values which have built up little by little. The trees and bushes, well dense and close together, show shape. You can guess where the single ones are. And it missed texture, which is a lot in this piece, I admit that, but also I wanted to show the leaves reflecting light and leaves hiding in the shadows on each tree. It can be simpler than that, and oftentimes the unfinished paintings just need some love and a touch to turn out perfect. Oftentimes it involves to shift colors a little, glaze, maybe intensify some areas, and it's difficult to talk about this issue without having a particular piece to show it. And another major improvement will be to adjust values, to deepen the shadows and darks, and maybe adding a highlight if it's lost. Whether you are done is really up to you. In many cases you feel it. When you look at your painting and feel like there's nothing else to add, there's nothing to adjust and nothing is missing. That is the feeling when I feel I am done. It's independent from the feeling of struggle I might have felt earlier, because that definitely happens sometimes. It's just the feeling of completion. When I look at a finished piece and I am okay with where it is now. Wow. That's so cool, the rain. I believe it might be difficult to see, maybe also while painting someone else's tutorial without knowing what is still missing. And I often get asked this when only minor things are missing. Final details, last dark values that make the piece pop. And I'm so glad everyone sticks out for me and finish their pieces, because I love looking at them, what others have painted. It's oddly satisfying for me to see my dear art friends paint with me and learn. Those little last details are the cherry on top. And it just makes me happy. That's when I feel done, when I feel really happy with what I've painted. On last stream I was adding the dark shadows to a monochromatic painting, which created a sense of bright dramatic light to an otherwise less impressive piece. Not all my work is impressive, but I honestly try. If you like to join me for more live rambles about art and pigments, and they're more chaotic than the videos are, you're welcome to join me on Twitch. I stream currently on Wednesday and Sunday, or join Discord for wonderful talks from morning to evening. I'm deleting Instagram because Meta is not the place for me to be on. I feel frustrated there, but I enjoy the other platforms that we have now. I share news on Mastodon and Blue Sky regularly. All the links to all social media are down below. I hope to hear from you and see your art too. And I hope you will find that sweet spot and joyous feeling of completion when you paint yourself. Have a wonderful and creative day, everyone, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!